Welcome back to my channel. Very hot today here in Perth, WA. I think it's about 40 degrees and I'm recording at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's almost at peak heat. So if I look a little bit sweaty, because I've actually moved building a studio out in my garage to get a bit more consistency with a black screen behind me, so then I can put different graphics and things in behind there. So bear with me if I look a little bit hot. So today I'm talking about a really important issue. So why I've changed my channel to be about AI and using AI to generate income for yourself. There's a wrong and right way to use it. And there's a lot of debate, especially in the TPT community, about whether you should use AI or not. And there's definite uses for it in there, even in product creation. Now, and one that's, I remember I read on one of the Facebook groups, I had a teacher mention that they were told they shouldn't use AI. They were using it for just proofreading. And I said to the person in response, the person who's telling you that, do they not use word checkers or spell checkers when using Word? That's another tool. And it's obviously often AI based nowadays in terms of providing more suggestions for you. So creating a tool and using that tool to actually make money is what, I guess, capitalism and what entrepreneurship is actually all about. But today I'm actually going to take you through something I stumbled across on TPT, because I guess it intruded a little bit into my domain where I actually sell my products. And I thought, oh, I'll go check this out. So let's get on to the TPT page and I'll step you through it. Okay, here we are actually on TPT itself. There's the home page. You notice at the top, I'm actually not logged in. I use different web browsers to when I go do check, so that way I haven't skewed sort of my previous search results coming out there. Now, what I'm going to talk about is a store I actually came across. I don't know who owns this store. I don't know who this person is. I cannot guarantee they use a store built with AI, but I'm just going to step through what people identify as a problem of people using AI in a particular way. Now, I use AI to produce different aspects of my product creation, also things like my description, things like proofreading, clarity, customizing is much easier to do with AI once you've set really good prompts and scripts up based off really good templates. And then I also use it to do review and give feedback on my, say, product covers and things like that. Now, I'll give some examples in some of my other videos. But what I'm going to talk about today is something I stumbled across because I wasn't doing it deliberately. And then I had a look a bit more in depth at this person's site. Now, they might come back to me and I quite welcome say they didn't produce with AI. And I'll step through why this is a problem. So a lot of people have been complaining about reduction in sales this year. So my sales for 2025 were down about 8% on the previous year, which is okay. The economy, I think, is Monday, the economy is doing worse. AI will have some small impact on that. But some people are blaming the use of AI for obviously producing low-end products that people are no longer buying, they're now just making themselves, which I think is really good because teachers should do this. But the second aspect of it is that there's been a massive inpouring of new sellers using AI to produce low quality or very basic resources and flooding the market, and that's skewing it a little bit. Though listening to one of the other YouTube commentators, Mike, who does a lot of really good data stuff, he was saying recently that only 10% of actual stores actually make money each year. And that's a tiny percentage. It's very skewed if you look at his data. But in terms of looking like that, people are always going to do it. And I know in my early days, I was contacted by people for advice, and they were, say, based in Morocco, trying to produce English language resources with their own knowledge of things like curriculum, pedagogy that works within, I guess, Australia or the US, the UK, or Canada, all those sort of similar school systems compared to what they do in Morocco when English isn't your natural language. And he had an amazing looking site. How much he did himself, how much he bought, I don't know. But it looked very professional, but he just didn't say anything because the products were very low value. They really didn't hit targets that teachers wanted them to do. Anyway, enough diverging on that. So what I was doing my usual check. And I've got a lot of products, if you've been following my story for a while, in the, if I can spell it correctly, Guided Reading Australia. I have a lot of guided reading. They're a fantastic resource I use within my class. I misspelt it there, but okay. So I went in this store, and when I do normally guided reading Australia, just say if I do World War One, my products will normally rank at the very top. And then I noticed this particular new store that appeared here, which is, fair enough. I looked at these covers here, guided reading a couple of things. And then I also went, okay, let's take the World War One out because obviously not doing World War One. Let's see if we can actually spell it right. guided reading. Okay, so I do guided reading in Australia. I obviously focus in the high school area. And then I looked at another guided reading or another area, and I saw this person had 1, 2, all these resources. And where I normally rank near the top, so if you look how many resources I've actually put up, every single topic. Okay, not even page 1. That's very unusual for me in the guided reading for Australia because there's not a lot of us. Okay, so there's got more, and there's me. So that's one of my more complex resources, far better than, say, my guided reading, but this is a guided reading, it's $1. And basically my large complex of guided reading, source analysis and scholarship obviously costs a little bit more because it's quite a complete lesson topic in the one resource. It's actually really good. But I digress. Anyway, so I wasn't getting the rankings I would normally do. I thought, oh, fair enough. Okay, as you do, because you want to see who your competition is out there, I thought I'll have a look at this guy here. And have a look at his resources and see what he's got to offer. So this person's from Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. I guess that's in the US, which is fair enough. Already got a lot of reviews, 28 followers, is sort of building, which is fair enough. And I'm not worried about the pricing or anything at this stage, so I thought I'd look at some of those resources. Now I looked down the left-hand side, it's got 6,171 stores. And I can tell you this store has appeared pretty much over the Christmas holiday. My Christmas holidays are over the Christmas break. It wasn't here late last year. So as a result, this person's developed and uploaded 6,171 resources. Kudos to them. They might have been working 24 hours a day, got a sweatshop behind them. Who knows? I don't know what their situation is. They've employed their kids in to get it done. But then I thought, okay, let's see what they've got on here. And I went to Australian history, 240 resources. I'll have a look at that. And then the first thing I noticed about all of them is, I say we've got Australian, we've got a bundle, so I'll ignore that for the moment. So we've got Ned Kelly, British colonisation. All the covers are pretty much exactly the same. So if you look at the covers, what they've essentially done, it's the same picture, it's the same backgrounds. The only thing that's changed is the topic British colonisation, refugees and asylum seekers and so on. And there's nothing wrong with that because obviously there's similar resources within that. But when I go click on one of these and come in, so I'll click on Ned Kelly and then I'll go to something, POWs in World War II, guided reading. So I've got my Ned Kelly, I'm going to load up the product page here. So I've got the information, quite a detailed product page here, engaging 10-page guide working for $3. That's good value, I guess, without using it. Edible in Google Docs, and we get it, so on. So it outlines the benefits of it. It doesn't actually state here what's in it. I thought, okay, fair enough. And if you go down here, and it gives you the top of activities that he outlines it. And this is fairly consistent, download options, and then he's hashtagged, absolutely filled out the bottom, which is actually TPT doesn't want you to do that. They don't want you to keyword stuff. It can affect your ranking, but I can't say that for sure. But this is the information we actually get when they have their town halls. Follow TPT Store, you can send him an email, which has got his email address there, which is fine. Cool, no worries at all. I'm going to have a look at these previews, see what they've done, see how he structured it. I'm going to learn about this because I do guided reading. How's it do different to me? And his products are very different to the way I do my guided reading. Why wait for that to load? I'm out in the garage now. I still got 5 bars. There we go, beautiful. Now, his outline, this is a sample of different worksheets. The one you purchased was over the same format. But obviously, and I've done this for my previews, that if I do guided reading, they're all the same, the content changes, and I have no issue with that. So I said, okay, we've got brain dump, one of curiosity, so I've got Jerry. Then we've got a guided reading passage, a couple of pages, some key vocabulary on another page, 3 things I learnt, which is very basic, I guess, approach in terms of classroom practice. Fill in the blanks, which is fairly quick. Multiple choice questions, short answers, and a reflect response 1, 2, 3, 4. One comment on the design, and then it comes out with an answer key. Well, that's a nice breeze coming through my garage. There's got an answer key there for all the answers, which is fair enough. And that in itself is not a problem. 10 pages, covers a lot of things. You get an idea of the content. Okay, so that's Australia Guided Reading Worksheet. I know. This is for my Ned Kelly resource, and it's giving me a World War I example. Okay, I can get around that, because obviously I see the format. So if I go to my same thing in here, I go my POWs in World War II. And what we see is exactly this, essentially exactly the same format. So thinking about how's he put this together, obviously he's produced a lot of resources very quickly. Okay. So Water One, it's exactly the same resource that we got here, same layout. So the previews are both exactly the same resource, and I have no individual problem with that. But what I also now notice here, remember what was the other description? Yeah, can I put them side by? Is we talked about 10-page Google Doc here. I'll just send this one back. It doesn't want to do that. Doesn't want to do it, I'll just close it down. But you'll see this is exactly the same text on two different products. I said, okay, fair enough. What I might do is go here. I'll do something completely different. Okay, it's on the store. Let's allow it to load up. Okay, let's pick geography. So Lake Chad, yeah, there we go in Africa. We often do a study with that. The description here is exactly the same as the other product. So there's actually no product details or anything at all. Now, and if I go in and have a look at the geography one, is it the same? Well, it's loading here, so I love to speed the internet. Obviously, it's a decent sized PDF, being 10 pages of information. So what I believe what's happening is, okay, same sort of format. He's changed the pictures, and now we've got Ottoman expansion guided reading worksheet. So it's got nothing to do with geography, and it's a brain dump, one to curiosity, and it's got a history blurb within there. So what we're saying here is this person has created exactly the same copy and paste. So going through there, what they've done is they've just dropped the PDF preview up there. They're all the same. Now, if I was building this, which I think I can do, I would actually create this template in geography. Sorry, my apologies. So this template, what it is, I would create the standard template, and he's mixed up a little bit because he's got two different topics, but I would actually just put it in Canva, create a CSV file for every single one of these products for the covers, and just pump them out and upload them. That would take me a couple of minutes to do that. Download them as all individual PDFs, and then I just upload them. That would save me so much time. So if you look at my products, so I go to my, and this is what I think you should do. You can learning, so, okay. And we want to look at a bundle. Okay, let's go to the store on this fine. Most recent ones I've just put up in the last few days. Okay, this is my first fleet one I'm designing. So looking at the first fleet here, so this is my cover. I don't have a preview because I put a lot in my covers, a lot of detail. So I can't bulk produce these. They are made in Canva, as I've shown in my other videos. I can't bulk produce these. They've got to be done manually because putting all the pictures in there and arranging them doesn't do it. And I obviously change the text and everything on there as well. And when I go in here, I use descriptions, and I've got detailed screen, product, purpose, outlined exactly what's in. So there's a lot more detail in there. He's done that. But I actually outlined some of the outcomes here, things, and I'll put things like this is a 2-lesson activity, as well as Australian curriculum. These are Australian-based resources. So what he's actually done is actually mass produce these resources. So if I look at these previews, there's one, the Lake Chad. So when we design this, if you put this template into Canva, you'll generate it all in AI first. So essentially you would have this set template once it loads up again. So the first page you wouldn't actually change. The second page, which has got all the content, so this you can change. This page, you'd change the title. You just put that in there to match up your CSV file. And in here, you would change the content. So you'd have an input for an instructions section. If that changes, then the content. And then the vocabulary, that's easy enough. You just put some files in there. And the rest of it's fairly generic. You then put that in there, and you would have it then multiple choice. You'd have those as separate fields, and short answers and so on, and then you'd have your answer key at the end. So it actually produce all of these in AI in mass, and then you put them into a CSV format, and AI can do that for you very quickly. Once you give it a template, you can put all the outputs within that, and you can pretty much just using the content that AI producers around the topic. You could then mass produce those, upload it, put it in these templates, download it, and then put it up on the TPT. Yes, it will take time, but when you look at a product that can put 6,000 resources up fairly quickly and covers almost any topic you can think of in terms of history, AP history, and what he's done fairly cheap, and then he's done his bundles, which are normally, what's that, $600 or something, and selling them for $39. So he's really just going for that really easy volume. He's really designed his site to just basically sell his bundles, so the person gets all these different resources. Going through. So 2,412 pages. But the problem with this bundle and what he's done with they're all pretty much exactly the same. They're the same style and format, which is really good. But man, would your students absolutely get bored of that? Okay, so let's look at this. Andrew Yang, once again, exactly the same blurb on there. Let's have a look at his preview. And this is the bad version of AI. This is what you do not want to do with AI. You want to use AI to enhance and customize what you're doing that you know is based on your expertise as a teacher in your particular niche. Now, I might design one resource like this, and there's nothing wrong with the basic format, but I'm not going to get, 200 odd activities, 240 activities, which are identical or the same. My students would absolutely kill me. So he's changed the pictures. So we've got brain dump. This time, what's he got? Information, guide reading, Asian Americans play civil roles, Malcolm X mentioned in there. Vocabulary, internment, discrimination. I'm not sure. Okay, so he started back with, so that Asian Americans and civil rights, so he went back as World War II internment. Okay, put that in there. Cover a very broad area, and he's got his same format. Now, I really would like to hear your thoughts on this. Like I said, 6,100 resources, bundles, which are, did we look at the bundle price? Let's go back. So you save this bundle $563. So he's done his marketing, said, look, I'll produce all these resources very quickly and I'll do really cheap bundles and see how quickly I can actually do sales. So that is an example of bad use of AI. Whether this person stays along, he's got the resources up there, he's got some sales. So why would you not bother? Where's his most recent one? Do this product here. And you notice all the comments are all 9 to 12. 9 to 12, if we do, say, world history, everything's 9 to 12, so it's just aiming at high school, in my context, middle, upper, or senior school students only, which obviously, honestly, I want more complex information activities than what this is actually presenting for that. So what we see here, I'm going to wrap it up there now. So go check the site out. It's Rockin' History Resources. If the person owns it, responds, then I'll certainly respond back to you. But looking from the outside, the consistency, the lack of depth and detail within that, also exactly the same type of resource design indicates that the person may have gone and got a template that works, maybe bought off someone else, and adapted that template and then has tried to cover every single topic you can actually think of in the same sort of format. I wonder what macroeconomics would look like. Guide reading way, natural disasters, Ben Bernanke, and the Great Recession, okay. Role of Federal Reserve. So if we have a look at that, we'll have a look at the preview. Wonder what sort of preview you would put in there. So the role of the Federal Reserve, macroeconomics, economic growth rate. So it's got an example of economic growth rate. So economics is very different to history or comprehension. So we've got wonder, we've got economic growth rate is fundamental indicator. There's no stats, there's no data, there's no skills like graphing, for example. All those skill rates are very basic, low-level stuff. Like I said, good luck to them. And I'll leave it there. Like I said, if you want to have a conversation about this, or you want to talk about how you do use AI, definitely get on with it. If you find this channel, do subscribe and share it with your friends. So give me a thumbs up. Do write comments below because I do want to interact with you more. And at the same time, there's a subscription to my mailing list below. I'm trying to then generate a community within that to share information more directly with you instead of just doing videos one or every 2 weeks, depending on what's happening in my rest of my life. Keep concentrating what you do. Use AI to improve what you do. Though you've covered everything under that. Come and comment and tell me your philosophy and what your resources are. I'd love to know. Till then, keep up the good work, and I'll catch you next time.